Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to another podcast.
Hello.
We're back again. Sorry if you can hear dogs playing in the background. The door is open because it's a nice day, and the dogs are playing outside. So
Better than them playing in here.
exactly, if they're happy, then we're just going to crack on with it. But
Mhm.
anyway,
My dog is a very noisy playtime friend.
yeah, he is. But they love each other, so that's all that matters. Anyway, roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to Confetti Conversations.
The podcast where me and my sister talk all things weddings, wedding planning, and married life.
Wedding planning and married life.
At least you listen.
Yeah, I do listen. One of the only listeners.
Yeah, we really need to promote this podcast. Seriously. You're meant to be social media manager.
I'm shocking. Shocking. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you are shocking.
We've talked about my organisation today. It is poor.
Yeah, but you need to be you were social media manager. I've got too much going on. I edit the podcast and do all of that stuff. You can do the social media.
I'm planning a wedding.
And?
Good point. I think I need to go back to a paper diary.
I think you need to man the fuck up.
I'm just finding every excuse for everything at the moment.
That's okay. You're allowed to do that sometimes.
But
if you want this podcast to do well, you need to pull your finger out. No, I'm not pulling your finger. You're joking.
Dear.
Everybody who knows Hayley, who listens, bully her into getting things on social media because she's really good at social media when she actually puts her mind to it.
I know. That's a bit annoying, really. And also, we'll now know those people who don't listen anymore who say they do because they won't bully me.
Yeah. Yeah. We're watching you.
Yeah, friends.
Yeah. But we do need to be better with promoting our podcast because we're 27 episodes in and we don't have a lot of viewers.
No, but I'm still having fun, so I actually don't care. I do care.
No, to be honest, neither. Actually, you're right. I don't really care about the viewers because I just love talking about weddings.
Yeah. It's like our official weekly or twice weekly, we must talk weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not bothered that we don't, obviously I would love to share our experiences with lots of people.
Yeah.
But if it's just me and you talking to two mics and a camera, then
yeah,
we're having fun.
Yeah, I'm having a nice time.
Yeah. So
anyway,
that's not the point of the podcast, but please do bully Hayley into I can't get my mic right today.
I don't think it's bully. Let's be nice. Let's encourage.
Okay, encourage Hayley to post more on social media. Thank you and good night.
That's the podcast done.
No. Following on from suppliers last week, we are talking about caterers.
Do you know what? I thought this was a good idea to talk caterers.
No, you're hungry.
I'm really hungry.
I'm hungry. We're not, obviously, neither of us are caterers. We don't come from a catering background. I worked for a caterer for a little while.
In my head, I was like, I'm sure Phil's done catering for a little bit.
But not for long.
And Nikki?
Yeah. And it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't really weddings. I don't think we ever did any weddings. It was lots of parties. Yeah. And I loved it, don't get me wrong. And like I went round and, gave people canapes, and we didn't really serve food necessarily to people's seats. It was more canapes and then like finger food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really involved in the ordering or the getting everything together, but I enjoyed the process of I liked being in that environment. But gosh, you work hard.
Yeah.
And you're on your feet all day, especially if you're taking canapes out to people. Wow, it's busy.
I love canapes.
But anyway, talking about caterers, I'm going to start with we'll work through this sort of list that I found from Hitched, and we'll sort of work through it because we're not qualified to talk about catering.
No.
We have no idea what we're talking about. We can only give you our own experiences. We might as well go through it in a structured way.
I'd be a really good person to have if you want me to come for a tasting. So if anyone wants someone to do a menu tasting for them,
yeah, exactly,
I'll sign myself up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So to start off with, there's so many different options of food different styles of food, different ways to serve food, just everything. There's so much going on with food that it can be super confusing. Like, do I need canapes? Do I want a grazing board? Do I want like a 3-course meal? Do I want a 2-course meal? Do I want a buffet? Like, there's so much to it. So number one is think about the food that you want. You don't necessarily have to make a decision to begin with, because then you're going to be like putting yourself in a box. Yeah. But at least have a think about the style of food you want, or at least the style of wedding that you want, and what style of food would fit
I feel
that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I feel like a different venue would suit a different style of food.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a teepee, you could chuck a load of food trucks outside.
Yeah.
You could also
Festival
have
themed.
But you could also have a sit down meal.
Yeah.
Or if you're in a hotel or a stately home, that's more of a sit down meal.
I don't think my food would have worked in like a stately home.
It would have been still lovely, but a stately home has got that feel to it, where you kind of, I never expect anything at a wedding anymore, but you kind of would have expected a 3-course
traditional dinner.
Like the very standard canapes. And that's me being very stereotypical.
Yeah.
But that's what I would expect.
Yeah.
Whereas for a TP wedding, and then someone brought out fish and chips, or like a kebab, or I'd be like, love that.
Yeah.
And that would suit that.
Yeah.
Loads of different options.
Oh, absolutely. So many different options. You just have to think about what it is that you want and what works for you. Yeah.
I would love, it would just cost a fortune, but I would love like a food festival type thing for wedding
with
food.
Loads of vans,
like loads of different options.
Yeah.
So like we have Digbeth Dining Club, and they do Herbert's Yard, don't they? Not far away.
Yeah.
So it's got loads, some residents, but like pop-ups of different food vans.
Yeah.
And just be like to people,
select your favourite ones.
Go get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be like beef on the block.
Beef on the block, wings and strips.
Yeah.
All of those.
Oh yeah. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out
Not
of 10.
ideal for a white dress though. So
no, probably not. Probably not. So, how would you go about booking a caterer? So, for me, booking a caterer was, we were given suggested suppliers.
Were they suggested, or were they the only ones you could choose?
Oh, only ones we could choose.
Yeah, because mine were the only ones you could choose.
Yeah, they gave us a list. Recommended. No,
these are I had 5. I want to see how they worded it now.
I can't remember. We spoke about it, but yeah, we were given 5 suppliers or 6 suppliers that we could use for our food. So we had some options with that. Whereas with some places, if you book, and we spoke about this last week actually, with that one place that we both went to see,
they had their own.
They had an in-house chef.
That's the word.
And you can have different menus. Like there's different menus you can have, but you can only have their food.
Yeah.
So
it was literally him.
Yeah. So it was, you could have like your traditional 3-course, or you could have something different, but you could only pick from them, like from their menus. Whereas like my caterer had loads of different options that you could choose from. But they weren't the only caterers that we could pick. Yeah.
So we had 5 options, and price ranges huge, like massive.
Yeah.
I think the one started from like £55 a head for 2 courses.
Yeah, you said this.
I guess the other day, like 130. Did I say?
Something
125?
like that. Something like that. Yeah.
And the food was just so different. And I actually think my caterers probably undersell themselves a little bit for how good they are.
Yeah.
And how well they presented everything.
Don't say that until your wedding's over.
I've got contracts, okay.
All right,
fair. But yeah, the food is incredible.
Yeah.
And the options, like the tasting menu, was insane. Like it was so good.
So you had like a tasting menu, didn't you, first, and then you had your specialised menu.
Yeah, so we've chosen something specific. So
yeah,
you know, like you've done your grazing board.
Well, it wasn't a grazing board. It was like a summer
barbecue. That was the word.
But we only went to try that. So we tried the different options within that option.
Yeah, so we could have gone. We didn't know. We could have just gone straight for a normal individual tasting. They invited us to this group one first.
Yeah.
Which was great, and it was like a Sunday afternoon when you've got nothing on and you ate loads of really nice food.
Yeah.
So we had canapes, we had starters, we had mains, and then this like board of puddings. I just can't even. They're so good.
Yeah.
But they were all like their most popular ones from their menu, and they literally said to everyone like, "What are you thinking? Do you want to try something else? We can book you in for a different one." But we'd gone with the plan of wanting a certain thing.
Yeah.
So they have their classic like canapes, starters. They have option 1 and option 2 starters, so like more expensive ones.
Yeah.
Same for mains.
So your starters are generic.
You can choose whatever. We're not having starters. We've decided to have more canapes.
I think that's a good idea.
And then the mains, there was all your classic like meat and veg and all the other things. Then there was a barbecue grazing board.
Sharing board.
Sharing board. No, but because there's a grazing board as well.
Yeah.
Like a carve at the table kind of roast beef type thing. Pies. And then you can have more street foodie type options as well.
Yeah.
They've got loads of different things. And yeah, for what we've chosen, it's so good.
Yeah, as did a few, I can't remember now, but off the top of my head, I know that they had the summer barbecue and afternoon tea. Ooh. Those were the two that I remember off the top of my head. And I think they had a more traditional one as well.
Maybe ours had afternoon tea as well.
But yeah, there was lots of different options. But like I said, those were not the only caterers that we could choose from. So it really depends what your venue has. Because some venues, and for example, if you were to put a marquee up in your garden, if you were lucky enough to have a decent sized garden or a field or something like that, or a teepee up in a field, then you can choose any caterer.
Yeah.
Like you literally can choose any. So in that way, you need to do your research and look at options and look at recommendations, reviews. Reviews are big. But yeah, so there's lots of different ways to sort of pick your caterer.
Yeah.
But number one, I think, dependent on your venue, if your venue says you have to have one specific person or there's a few options, if you have a few options, then you do your research.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any options and you can pick anything, then again, definitely do your research on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, this is interesting. What questions do I need to ask my wedding caterers?
Gosh, I probably should have read something like this before I started.
Yeah, I didn't know any of these, but here we go. Let's give them a go and see if we...
Maybe we did it already.
Yeah, maybe. Are you free on my wedding day and do you have any other commitments that day?
Good point.
So my caterer, actually, they have different teams.
Yeah.
So they can cater multiple weddings.
I think mine is the same. Yeah.
So there wasn't so much of a restriction as to whether we could have them or not.
Yeah,
so we were quite lucky in that respect.
That's good.
Is your menu set or do you offer a bespoke service? That's interesting. So if you want something specific, I'm sure there's caterers out there that will do it for you.
Yeah, ours offered that.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or if you wanted, say, the potatoes off one main and the meat off another and the veg off another, they'd put it together for you.
Oh, that's great. That is.
Yeah,
I don't know. We never asked. We just, because we knew what we wanted.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
We just kind of went with it, so we never actually asked the question. So it's interesting that if you ask the question, you might get what you want.
Yeah.
So if you don't quite see something that you like, there might be an option to sort of but you like elements of everything.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go to a caterer and be like, I know that you do fish and chips, but I really want you to do pizza. And they'll be like, not in our wheelhouse. Like you can't do that. But if you like something, like elements of theirs, but you want them to put it together in a different way, then that's an option.
Or you have like a pizza van and you want a certain style pizza.
Yeah.
Be realistic with what you're asking.
Yeah, you can't ask somebody who makes fish and chips to cook you a pizza. It's just never going to happen.
No.
Can we sample a menu?
Yeah.
So most places will do your tasting, won't they? That's one of the best parts about
so good
getting married is having the food tasting.
Honestly, ours was so good.
Oh yeah. What are your most popular dishes?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that our food was our caterer's most popular option. I think most people did it, and we probably would have gone for that anyway, but we leant towards it because our venue coordinator was like, yeah, this is the one for you.
Fair.
Like, when we spoke about Sam being fussy and all that kind of stuff, he was like, no, you need to book that one.
No,
And we were like,
that.
okay, fair enough. Do you charge a bulk fee or cost per head? Mine charged cost per head.
Same.
I didn't ask the question, but they told me per head.
Yeah,
and it said, I think it said in the brochure per head.
Our venue sent us like a Dropbox account with everything in, and
we had
caterers.
A booked couples portal on the website.
Yeah, so you could then look at their menus, and they've been updated. Actually, it says like, I think mine got updated before Christmas or something like that. So before you even, it wasn't even booked. I think it was like when you'd shown interest and gone, yes, we'd like to consider a date.
Right.
They send it you. We already knew we wanted to book, but they send it you, so you can look at the catering, you can look at the drinks packages, and
amazing.
all of that. Yeah,
amazing. Do you have pictures of food? I think most will have like a portfolio that will show the food.
Yeah.
Or like now with social media and stuff, a lot post stuff on their social media, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they do the styled shoots.
Yeah.
You know, to get their food
out there.
Yeah, because everything is done on photos now, isn't it? Really. Have you worked at my venue before? That's interesting because like the logistics of different venues.
Yeah.
Obviously, with us having set suppliers, you know, they knew the lay of the land. But like that isn't really interesting if you know you're booking a venue and they may never have worked there before.
Yeah.
So, do you offer a complimentary food tasting? Can I bring along more people at an additional cost?
Yeah. Again, we got told that we didn't. I didn't ask these questions because I got told it. We knew we could have. It was enough for us, and we would pay for additional if we wanted, and it wasn't a lot.
No, we never even considered taking anyone with us. It was something we always wanted to do, just the two of us. So we didn't even ask if we could
only
bring
thought
anyone.
about it because Ellis's mum is vegetarian.
Yeah.
But then there wasn't that. There were loads of vegetarian options, but in the selection of menu we've chosen, there wasn't.
Yeah.
So we just tried one and we liked it.
Fair.
She's not a big eater, so.
No. When will you need final numbers?
Yes.
I think they're quite upfront with that anyway, aren't they? And tell
I think they told us that. I think it's been mentioned before, but we got told at the tasting.
Yeah. When will you need a final decision on the menu? What desserts do you offer? Desserts are big.
So good.
My dessert for my wedding,
lemon posset.
Oh, the lemon posset. I can't even tell you.
Everyone talks about it now.
It was the best lemon posset I have ever had in my life. And we tried it on the food tasting. I went, yeah. Sam was like, oh, but maybe we can have something chocolatey. I went, no, lemon posset.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, fine. But in the end, we ended up doing 50-50, which some people don't like, but this is what we did. So half the people, like every other person, you'd have either a cheesecake or a lemon posset.
But it was great for me and Elle as a couple because that meant we got both.
That was the idea. So me and Sam, I had the lemon posset, he had the cheesecake because that's how we wanted it. But most people did share.
Yeah. No,
so
it was really
good. If you're a couple, it worked really well.
Yeah. I really want to say about what we're having because our pudding is insane.
Because then it gives us something to talk about afterwards.
I just really want to eat it again.
Okay, but you can't. So
I can.
We can at your wedding.
Just not yet.
Yeah. Do you offer drinks packages? I guess, I mean, it was an external bar, but they only serve there.
So it wasn't actually the venue's bar?
It's a separate business.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a completely separate business. I think they might have one other place, maybe in a local town. But they are, primarily,
that's interesting.
They are with them.
I don't know if our caterers, they might do drinks packages, but they don't at our venue because our venue do the drinks package.
Yeah. Will you provide the bar staff? Because I guess you need to know for staffing reasons. How many serving staff will you have on the day? That's interesting. I think if you want like a really sleek day, most of them are obviously professionals.
Yeah.
But if you're worried and you're like, I would like to pay for an extra member of staff just to be able to be there to pick up
the slack.
Well, not even the slack. Just be like
on it,
super on it, so that there's an additional member of staff. If that's what you want, and you really want it to be clean and no mess and no issues, then I think you could pay for an additional member of staff. But I wasn't worried about that.
No, I wasn't. I think again, when you do venue recommended suppliers, they're not going to put their name in jeopardy, because people, when they go to book a wedding, don't look at the caterers, don't look at all of that necessarily.
No,
they look at the venue.
Yeah,
and the venue would have bad reviews if it was for the staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even though the staff aren't theirs, those would be the reviews, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. What is your staff dress code? Again, I think if you have like a strict dress code with your
black
wedding
tie or something,
and you want it to look super sleek and clean, then ask that question. But most of them dress like black trousers, white top with an apron. Like that's generally what you're gonna have. Yeah. So I think, like, for me, I don't really care.
No, or me.
I didn't care.
They're not part of like your photos.
No.
If they serve the food nicely, that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you make wedding cakes? I mean, I'd never thought about that.
No, or me.
We had a separate.
No, I know you didn't get your cake, but your cake was so good.
Oh, so upset about it. I'm gonna have to go and maybe on my 5th wedding anniversary.
Have a cake made by them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a
cake
made by them.
Or maybe for my birthday, my 30th.
I'm gonna have a cake from them.
Are you? They're so good and so reasonable.
So reasonable. The cake was delicious.
I'd had lots of samples, so I knew it was good cake.
Yeah.
But I just didn't get to eat my own cake. In hindsight, this is something you need to say to your caterers. And I would recommend it to everybody, is say to your caterers, can you keep some cake for us?
Speaking about that, not the saving the cake for you, on a different podcast, on the Unfiltered Bride, they talked about a wedding venue charging to cut the cake.
Well, this is the next one on here. Do you offer a wedding cake cutting service?
Just wouldn't, I've heard...
Yeah, no, it was included with my caterers. It wasn't anything to do with my venue.
Did it actually specifically say we cut your cake?
No, but we had the conversation about cake cutting and providing a knife. They said, we will cut your cake.
The knife comes from my venue. Yeah. I know that.
You need to ask the question whether they'll do it.
If not, Mum will do it.
She won't, Hayley. You can't make your mum. You'll have to pay for them to cut the cake. You cannot make your mum cut the cake. Especially not like a proper wedding cake.
No. I will ask that.
You need
We've
to
got our meeting in the next few weeks.
It was all included for us. Our caterers did it. But yeah, you do need to ask that question because they do charge for it. Because if your caterer doesn't do it, then your venue will charge you for it.
Yeah.
It's madness. I know it's complete madness, but
when a cake is such a big thing of a wedding, even that, I don't really get the reason why a cake's such a big thing of a wedding. A cake, like a birthday cake.
No, I know, but it is big.
No one sings to you.
Well, no, but everyone watches you cut the cake.
I know, but
you don't have to have one if you don't want one.
Well, everyone watched us cut a cake at the engagement party.
Yeah, well, if you don't want a cake, don't have a cake. Something you can forego.
Can you imagine Ellis not having cake?
Well, fair enough. And also, it is just a nice thing to do.
Yeah,
and the cake cutting photos are lovely, except for I hate the one with Sam licked the knife.
Did he?
Oh,
I nearly missed you.
He didn't actually touch it.
Yeah.
He didn't actually put his tongue on the knife. But there's a photo of him and it makes me. I'm really annoyed at him, and Mom's angry at him as well. I
didn't know that. I only just saw you cutting the cake because I was chatting to our cousin's little kids in the toilet. They were having a lovely time. And they said, are we going to dance later? I was like, yeah. And then I heard the music, someone say the cake cutting. I was like, Ava, Emily, run!
Yeah. Oh, that's cute. How do you cater for dietary requirements and allergies? That's good, especially if you have somebody with a really bad allergy. You need to make sure that they're properly catering.
It's all a legal requirement now, though, isn't it? So especially when it's official catering, they just have to do it.
Yeah.
But there is a big onus on the bride and groom when they're collecting all their information to make sure that they get that right to pass it on.
Oh yeah.
That's why I've done the wedding website partially because of me being so dyslexic. I know I would get something wrong with that. All I have to do is literally print it out and give it to them.
Yeah.
And it's got all the options on there.
Yeah, see, I wasn't worried about it, and I knew that there wasn't many dietary requirements.
Yeah,
so
I've got a lot of vegetarians.
Yeah, I didn't actually. I only had in the day. I think I actually only had one vegetarian, and then I had one vegan in the evening. But she was catered for.
I think I have quite a few.
Yeah,
I think I might have a vegan as well.
Yeah, you just tell them, and they just do it. They automatically do it. Like, they brought Emily just out her own dinner, and everybody else had the sharing platters, and she still had a sharing platter, but just for herself.
Yeah.
So, do you offer halal and kosher options?
Yeah. Again, you just gotta know.
It is I think most places probably do. Yeah. I don't think you'd have to worry about that. Do you offer a children's menu? Again, most places probably do. Do you provide plates, cutlery, and table linen? That's really interesting because you don't think about it.
No.
You just think that
it turns up.
Yeah, you just think, well, there will be plates, there will be cutlery, and there will be a tablecloth.
Especially if you're going to do like a marquee.
Yeah.
Because if the caterers don't provide it, and your hire company who you've got the tables from don't provide it, what are you doing?
Yeah. Absolutely, it is. You need to make sure
you can use a little wooden fork.
Yeah,
that's your only option.
That's your only option. Yeah. But you do need to know who's providing what. Yeah, glassware. That normally would come from a bar.
No, ours is from the caterer.
Is it?
So table glassware.
Maybe ours was then actually table.
I think
glassware.
All the table. Like, think of the table. I think that's all from the catering company. Because when we went to our food tasting, they had on display all their different options. Because I strongly feel that the quality of the glass you drink out of affects the drink.
I agree. I do agree. But
However,
this
is so expensive
when we talk about bars. But yes, they are expensive.
No, but this is because this comes from my catering company. That's why I mentioned it.
Well, yeah, true. They
had them, and like the charge plates and knives and forks and all the different options of tablecloth colours and napkin colours.
See, we didn't have a lot of that, to be fair. I was always going to do white tablecloths anyway, and I wasn't bothered about like charger plates or like any specific wine glasses or anything like that.
Too cluttered.
Yeah, and it didn't change anything. Like, I probably would have done charger plates, but I would have bought them myself. I wouldn't have like got them from hired them or anything like that. But when it sort of came down to it, it was so low on the list. I was like, I'm not bothered. And also, I wasn't bothered about cutlery. I wasn't bothered about like changing the plates or changing the glassware, because at the end of the day, that's a lot of money for not a lot of reward.
I can't afford to change the glassware.
No.
But if money was no object,
oh gosh,
that is one of the first things I would change.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I do think it can completely change the look of a table.
Yeah.
For me, my tables were rustic, and
it didn't matter.
It didn't change it. I think if you have like a very sleek and elegant table, the glassware will make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you need access to a power source if working outside? So again, if it was a marquee, you need to make sure that there's a space for them, and there's like the right sort of things.
They'll bring their own generators.
Yeah,
that kind of
absolutely. Stuff. How much do I need to pay to secure my booking, and when is the final balance due? Sorry. And then what is your cancellation policy, which is again really important. Most places, I think, you pay the deposit, and if you cancel, then you will get like 50% back or something like that, or you don't get your deposit back or something, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't have to do that, but
Yeah. Never know.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the questions, really. So it's sort of saying like you can have any sort of food at your wedding. Like, you don't have to have anything specific. Like we've said, you can have food can change the vibe of a wedding. A wedding that's really sort of sleek and elegant can sort of be changed in a bit more fun. If you want to have the ceremony is really sleek and elegant, but then you want the sort of reception and evening to be a little bit more fun, a little bit more free, then you would go maybe for something food-wise that's not your traditional food, or you went for your traditional food as your wedding breakfast, and then your evening food, say for example the bride's changing dresses, then that's the fun party. You bring the pizzas out, you bring the little vans out with different things and stuff like that. Like, you can change the vibe of the food throughout the day.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't necessarily think that your wedding breakfast needs to go with your evening food.
No, I don't. I agree.
I think you can have whatever you want in the daytime and then whatever you want in the evening. I don't think you need to be strict.
I think have what the hell you want. It's your wedding, and everyone else can suck it up.
Well,
Or if someone has anything to say about the wedding food you've chosen, You are paying for it for them.
Yeah.
Suck it up and eat it.
And I said this, so my mother-in-law said to me, like, quite a while before the wedding, she was like, oh, what, like, I really think you should probably have, you know, your traditional meat and veg, and you should have a proper starter, main course, dessert. Like, I think it would be really beneficial. Like, I think that's what people would expect. And I said, you know, okay, fine, but Sam doesn't like that. And she said, well, Sam can have something different. And I said, no, Sam specifically said when we were looking around, because the venue said that to him as well. They were like, if you don't like this food, then you can have something different. And he said straight away, no, I don't want to do that.
It's his wedding.
Like, I want to eat the food that everyone else is eating. I don't want a special food, special meal. I'll feel really awkward. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. And I said that to his mom. I was like, no, he said he wants to eat what everybody else is eating, and he's chosen this. This is what he wants. And I said, also, it's half the price of every other food option that we were given. So we're having that one.
Yeah.
And she was like, fair, fine, okay, fair enough. And she never mentioned it again.
No.
And she loved the food on the day.
Yeah, she did.
But like, yeah, she questioned me, like, why haven't you had your traditional? And Mom did as well, to be fair. Questioned why I didn't have the traditional meat and veg option. But I was like, it just doesn't suit her.
I found it so much easier though, because I'm not getting those questions from Mom.
No,
because she's already done them with you.
Yeah.
And Jenny doesn't care.
No, she's not a big foodie though, is she?
No.
So she's not going to question you on the food. So long as she can eat something.
Yeah.
She's not bothered.
No. As long as she's got enough wine.
Yeah, wine. Yeah, she'll care more about the alcohol.
Yeah.
That's the one that she's
top table.
About.
They better be topping up those beverages.
And then, yeah, I'll need some boozy people. But then again, I don't want boozy people because then I get to drink the wine.
Good point.
So, anyway, it's not talking about alcohol. I think with everything in wedding planning, your caterers have to fit your vibe and be what you want and be what you as a couple care about.
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to get food that pleases somebody else, you're not going to enjoy it.
Nope.
And you're paying a lot of money.
Yeah, have what you want.
Yeah.
Sod the rest.
That's the most amount of money I think I've ever spent on food in my life.
I hope so.
Yeah. Like, literally, you never spend that much money on food. So just enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, have something you want. Have the food you want. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So long as you two are happy, like we said the whole way through this, that's all that matters. And, like, we're not experts on caterers. We can't,
it's just what we've done.
This is just our experience and how we've sort of gone about it. I bet there's loads more that we can talk about. And maybe we will talk about it when we can talk about your food.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go into detail of what you've had.
I just really want that for tea, though, now.
I know. That's all right. I'm cooking you pasta. You'll be fine. It's the first time I've ever cooked people food in my house.
Phil's lived in this house for 2 years, nearly.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we've been invited over for Phil to actually cook.
Do you know why? Right. I'm not a bad cook. It makes me sound like I'm a bad cook. I'm not a bad cook. I throw things together and I'm like, meh, that'll do. And I like what I like.
Yeah, but we like it too.
Yeah, maybe. I just worry.
We've come over and had like takeaways.
Yeah.
But we've never been invited for Phil to cook, so see how we all feel tomorrow.
I was going to say that if they're all thrown up tomorrow, not my fault.
Won't be coming back again.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what she's going to do, and then we won't ever. Yeah. If this podcast gets out on Friday, Phil will be fine. She won't poison herself.
No. Well, how do I not poison myself but poison everybody else when we're all eating the same thing?
I listen to a lot of murder podcasts. There's ways.
Okay. Right. Anyway, yeah, this has just been our experience with caterers, and like we said, we'll probably talk about food again when, like, a lot of these topics we'll talk about again when we can talk about your wedding.
Now I'm thinking about, how do you know if your caterers aren't going to poison you?
Oh my gosh! Don't say things like that.
They're professionals. They know what they're doing.
Read the reviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the reviews say they didn't get poisoned, then you're safe.
Yeah.
Read the reviews is the only thing I can say, and go off recommendations.
Yeah.
If you're struggling, speak to someone who's been married, or maybe even get in contact with your wedding venue or another wedding venue, and sort of sit in the local area and see what different ones there are around. Google search Hitched, Bride Book, all of those kind of places have recommended caterers on them. So definitely have a look on those. Yep. But yeah, now we're starving.
Yeah, feed me.
Yeah, we've got to wait. Yeah, until everyone else arrives. Anyway, I think that's it for now.
Yep.
For now. I'm Philippa.
I'm Hayley.
This was Confetti Conversations, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.